Hi, my name is Borys, and in this video I'm going to show you the top 15 absolutely free VST instruments which you can use in any music production software. These include modern synths, analog synth emulations, sampled acoustic instruments, and much more. Before we get into the video, if you like what we are doing on this channel, make sure to subscribe. We've got more content about free plugins coming up. If you'd like to learn Ableton 12 with all the foundations of music production, check out our Beginner to Advanced Live 12 Start to Finish course, and make sure to also check out the Everything Bundle Collector's Edition, which includes all of the courses, sound packs, and project files in our store. Alright, so let's get started. We're going to be starting from synthesizers, then we will go through some sampled instruments, and we will end up on some nice drum plugins. Alright, so first of all, we've got a curious synth to begin with. This one is called Syndtsphere. I have an ARP loaded up here as MIDI. I'm just going to click in this area and move around this circular control. So just give it a listen. Alright, so as you can hear, this is a really curious sounding synth. It's perfect for blending different patches together. It's really cool for some melodies or even for some pads, and it's incredibly simple and intuitive to use. You've got some basic controls and a delay module, but it's basically just this control which allows you to scroll through lots of presets and blend between them. Because you might not be happy with any particular sound, but the combination or some point in between patches might sound way more interesting. Okay, so that would be synth number one. Now, as for the next one, we've got also something curious. This one is called the X Stream from Steinberg, and it's a spectral synth. And just give this fragment a listen. We just have one MIDI node loaded up, and it's a sample which is playing forward, and then it's also going to play backwards for a bit. Let's listen. This synth is perfect for all kinds of soundscapes, a lot of nice cinematic presets here, some musical effects as well, and even some vocal sounds. And it's also got some advanced features like LFO, step modulation, a nice modulation matrix, and effects like EQ, delay, and reverb built in. So that would be Extreme from Steinberg. Next synth is going to be from Yuhi, the makers of Diva. The synth is called Zebralette. It's a smaller single oscillator version of the Zebra plugin, which is famously used by Hans Zimmer, for example. And it's got a great sound, some really great presets, and advanced modulation and processing features. Let's just give this fragment a listen. So as you can hear, it can sound very warm. We've got really nice envelopes here, very visual as well, and some great sounding effects too. So I think this synth is definitely worth messing around with. Alright, let's take a look at the next one, and it's probably the most popular out of all of the plugins we're going to be talking about today. And it's the synth called Vital. It's really great sounding, and you can think of it as like a free version of Xfer Serum. It's a wavetable synth, which can also sound very warm and analog. It's got a great unison section, which can make your leads and bass sounds, for example, sound huge, and some amazing filters. And also it's got a wide selection of effects which you can stack on top, not to mention the advanced modulation matrix. Alright, so we have a bass sound loaded up. Let's hear it. As you can hear, it can sound really fat, and in my opinion, it's an incredibly versatile synth. You can make a retro sounding track as well as modern EDM. Alright, so moving on, the next synth for today is the OBXD. And this one is an emulation of the Oberheim OBX. It's got very similar features, lots of great presets. You've got lots of banks, 19 banks here, and in each of these there's a lot of programs available, and it's a perfect synth for all kinds of retro sounds. It sounds very warm, and even though it doesn't have any built-in effects, it's got an LFO section which can already make your sounds very interesting. Alright, so let's give these chords a listen. I really like this sound because it's got the LFO applied to the pitch, and it just makes this pad sound very dreamy. And this synth is way more basic than, for example, Vital, but it's got a great authentic analog sound, so make sure to check this one out. Okay, so the next one is an open source plugin, which is called Surge. This one is very advanced. As you can hear, we've got a lot of features built into this view. As you can see over here, we've got lots of modulation sources, so LFOs, envelopes, and we've got plenty of modulation destinations as well. We've got effects, we've got wavetables available, we've got some analog sounding waveforms as well, effects, modulation, delays, different kinds of reverbs. So this synth is probably the richest in features out of all that we're going to be presenting today. As for this one, we're going to be playing some plucky chords here. But this one is also very rich in presets, and you are definitely not going to be disappointed by Surge. As for the look of the synth, I have just chosen a different skin. By default, it looks like this. Alright, so let's take a look at the next one. This one is called Tyrell N6. And this one is a Roland style synth, also from Yuhi, so the makers of Diva once again. This one is also quite simple. If you're wondering about the look of this synth, I have just loaded up a different skin. It's called GreyTech 2D. So you can grab it from the Yuhi website, but by default, it just looks like this. There is a slight mistake here with the oscillator shape icons. I just prefer to use this skin, which has the correct wave shapes displayed here. All right, so this one sounds like this. In my opinion, it sounds great, especially because of this chorus section. You've got different types of the chorus, and also you can stack voices, so this can sound really fat. And you've got 2 LFOs, 2 envelopes, and 2 oscillators as well. Classic pulse width modulation, so you know this one is going to sound absolutely great. If you don't have a version of the Roland Juno type synth, you can definitely grab Tyrell, which can be a great alternative. Alright, so the next one is going to be a Moog style synth, and this one is the VK1 Viking synth. So this synth is an emulation of the Moog Voyager, which is a monophonic synth, just like the original Mini Moog was a monophonic synth. It's got a really fat, authentic Moog style sound. Let's just give this one a listen. I've got a bass line prepared here. So as you can hear, it's got this characteristic filter. It's that signature sound which makes it stand out, and it's probably the best option for Moog style sounds available for absolutely free. You've got 3 oscillators available, a noise source, and then obviously a filter, separate envelopes for the filter and volume, and also an LFO and a nice modulation routing section as well. And it's also got some nice presets as well. Okay, so let's move on. The next one is already going to be a Rompler sort of device. And because this one doesn't allow you very in-depth changes to the presets. This one is called Flite. It's got a wide selection of sounds, but it doesn't allow you very in-depth tweaks, although the sounds are very high quality. So let's give this fragment a listen. I've got some chords, which I'm going to be playing with a synth guitar. Alright, so the free version allows you to use a nice selection of presets, but it doesn't allow you this in-depth section in which you can blend all the sample sources and tweak the envelopes in depth, as well as the LFOs and the filters. It just allows you a 20-minute trial of that section. But yeah, you can continue using the play section for as long as you want. Alright, so that's Flite. The next one is a sort of alternative to the Spitfire Labs series, which is very popular. If you don't know Spitfire Labs, you definitely have to check it out. It's a selection of sampled instruments available for free. But the vaults are also a very nice option. For instance, here I've loaded up a mallet piano and I'm playing a melody with that. So let's play that. You have some basic parameters. You can blend between different samples here, and you've got distance controls, so typical sampled instrument features. And what we have over here is also an amp bass and studio drums that I have loaded up, but there are a few more Volts devices to choose from. So if you're in need of some nice sampled instruments, you can start from Volts. All right, so the next plugin is going to be a guitar. It's the Ample Guitar M2 Lite. It's got a great authentic sound with some fret noises as well. In my opinion, it sounds great. And also this developer makes a free bass. So if you need an electric bass guitar, you can also get that. So let's just play these few chords with this guitar. And there's not much tweaking that you need to do, but there are also some strumming features, and you can also play some tabs as well. And we've got some nice pedals available too. All right, so that's the guitar. And let's take a look at some drum plugins. This one is an amazing drum instrument. It's the free version of Modo Drum, which allows you to use this studio kit. And there's many more, obviously, in the paid version, but the 6-piece studio kit is definitely worth checking out. So let's just play this MIDI that I have prepared here. Sounds incredibly authentic, and you can use this studio kit to create a lot of tracks. You've got in-depth editing features. You can choose a different space to put the sound in. You can mix these sounds with different built-in effects here. And what's also amazing is that you've got grooves. And what's amazing about these grooves here is that you can drag these over into Ableton, and you can just play them and edit them right from the MIDI editor. And that's just amazing to me. And yeah, so Modo Drum, definitely worth exploring. If you're in need of free drums, this acoustic drum kit is amazing. So the next plugin is a combination of electronic samples and also acoustic drum kits. You can use it for some retro sounds. You can use, for example, this multi-sampled kit for some acoustic drums. And yeah, it's definitely got a different sound than Modo Drum. And this one is way more basic. We've just got a delay effect over here, just some room, reverb, and yeah, basic gain, panning, and pitch for all of the available sounds. But you've got some nice kits to choose from, so you might find some stuff that you like. So that's the Drumtastic plugin. Also, what we have here is a sampler. So this one is really great. It's called Momentum. And this one, I have just loaded up some synth chords, and I'm processing these chops a bit differently and applying some reverb as well. So what I'm doing is just filtering and the lo-fi effect, which acts a bit like Redux in Ableton, and I'm also just doing reverb. So let's play it. And what's great about this one is that you can really easily draw in different modulation parameters. And you can do that for each and every of these effects. You can reverse the sounds, you can add stutters, pitch changes. A lot can be adjusted here. It's a really nice alternative to just using the simpler and sampler devices in Ableton. The last plugin for today is going to be the Triaz Player plugin. And this one is a sample-based drum machine. It doesn't allow you to use all of the features in this plugin for free, but it definitely allows you to get some nice usable sounds. So here I have a house drum pattern. Let's just play it. As you can hear, we have a nice kick, then we have a rim shot, and then we also have a clap. For instance, here we also have some loaded hats, and also the shaker, and the wood block. A nice feature of this plugin is that you can mix between different sounds here. You can also randomize different sounds. But for example, the sequencer is not part of the free version, so you just have to stick with the sound tab. And some of the advanced features of editing these sounds are also not available. For instance, the advanced settings of the drum randomizer are not available, but you can click just randomize kit. And it already generates some really cool drums, which would take you a bit of time to set up. And yeah, I really like the randomization feature. And yeah, it just allows you to create some drums really fast. All right, so these would be the 15 plugins that I've chosen. If you have any other picks, make sure to leave them in the comments. I hope you found this video useful. Make sure to check out our Music Production Academy with lots of start to finish courses on making tracks in various genres. And if you'd like to learn Ableton 12 with all the foundations of music production, check out the Beginners to Advanced Live 12 Start to Finish course. Make sure to also see the Everything Bundle Collector's Edition, which includes all of the courses, sound packs, and project files in our store. All of the links will be in the video description. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. If you enjoyed this video, leave it a like, and I will see you in the next ones.